was about was nut or the cow that her milk made the Milky Way. The golden calf, the cow, and the Milky Way, and all that stuff, right? So, here's God being bipolar. Thou shalt not kill, but go kill these people because they made a golden cow. Now that there you have evil and good both represented. You shouldn't kill, but these people, they're bad, you know. Um, you can't have a positive and negative without them interacting, and that's what makes everything work. You put the Alka Seltzer in the water and it starts fizzing because of of their chemical makeup. The things react to each other. There's some positive, negative stuff going on, and it equalizes.
How do we bring this down to something simple for people suffering from pain and trauma and fear of seeing the chaos of war right now unfolding and people hurting each other and trying to figure out, myself included, well, is this coming from God? Is this coming from the devil? Is this person being rewarded by being taken back to God? Are they being punished? And I think a lot of us are confused or looking for the truth, rather, right? And going down the rabbit hole there.
Well, those conflicts, you get kind of stand back and watch it, unless you want it to possibly destroy you, stay away from it.
Stay away from
conflict.
Stay away from conflict. Stay away from conflict.
Yeah.
Different types of conflict, physical conflict, but also verbal conflict and arguing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a woman that she wants to live with me. She wants me desperately and everything, except every time I back and tell her, come on, and then she gets over aggressive and then brings up, well, this happened because you did that. And it's like, if you can't let that go, then you're never going to have peace. There's always got to be a compromise. You always got it can't be 100% your way when you're trying to work something out with somebody. Both sides have to compromise a little to the other, and then both sides have to understand each other. You know. Well, I have trouble with gaslighters in the treasure hunting, and the people who got there too late, the losers, will try and they'll say things that aren't true about somebody. They'll use something that is true, but they'll turn it into a total lie to so that they can be on top of that person, so they can seem more put themselves on a higher step than the person they're trying to their competition say. It's like wrestlers. They always this and that about the other guy, and they're gonna beat their ass, and it's people do forcing themselves into power. Oh, either way the election goes, it's going to break out in civil war. There'll be civil war if it's thrown over to the Democrats. Then the Republicans are going to revolt against the media and the control factors that promote the fake news and the communist propaganda. And then if the Republicans win, then the Democrats are just going to go into full Trump derangement syndrome, and all the people that don't know what they have in their pants are going to be out in the street causing havoc and rioting, and probably end up being arrested if Trump is actually able to get installed. There's getting elected, and then are they going to let him be installed? That might, if there's all kinds of things that they have up their sleeves that they'll use against each other, because one side has to be in control. It's all about who's going to collect the tax money, and right now there's a system of we got this money for this country over in Asia, and in return they pay back the politician through money laundering and multiple uh, corporations and things, and so you have to go through like 10 different organizations to find out where the money the politician came from, and they don't want their stuff checked. And now Trump has it. He made Supreme Court made it precedent that they can get the tax records of any politician, and so now he can get their tax records because it's made it constitutionally legal, and now they're screwed because they didn't realize going after his tax record was going to expose theirs.
Yeah, I agree that whatever's going to happen, it's going to result in this type of
Um,
controlled chaos. Yeah.
they do a lot of gaslighting and projecting, accusing the other person of what they've done. It's I even for my YouTube stuff, I I had been after people I call gaslighters, and I was on eBay searching for bronze, and there's a bronze guy gaslighter with a stick reaching it up to the street lamp to light the street lamp, you know. And it's like, oh, that's the Gaslighters Oscar Award, you know. So I could have the Gaslighter Awards, and the gaslighters that I don't let somebody shoot at me without shooting back at them. You see, I don't let them. I don't let them try and take me down to better themselves without shooting back at. Somebody throws shit at me, and I throw 10 times as much shit back at them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're better off just leaving me alone,
Without giving too many details, have you what have you dealt with as far as people living around you and conflict resolution or trying to avoid conflict?
Only the one problem with my one neighbor that was threatening the county on me, and he kept, and it was over politics too. This guy would tell me, oh, Jim's got your dog hanging from the tree. Trying to tell me that the other neighbor over there, half mile away, shot my dog and had it hanging from the tree. And just very, very rude, mean things to say, And when he's trying to threaten the county on me for political reasons, and I kind of cursed him, and then he died. So, uh, it is kind of his own karma come back and got him. I wasn't going to allow his attacks on me to, I knew that I wasn't in the wrong, and his attacks on me were personal, over
Tell me
somebody
more about the
else's.
attacks.
Well,
He said it was a good thing that what were the attacks again? He said it was good that the dog died.
no, the dog didn't die. He was pulling my leg, telling me the neighbor killed my dog. You know,
He just
and
is this on the internet through text message?
no, on the phone, he told me that.
Someone that you were talking on the phone, so it was an acquaintance, a friend,
Yes, he tried telling me that the neighbor had killed my dog and strung him up on the tree.
because he
And
was messing with you.
yeah,
But what I haven't heard of that before. Like some people are
uh,
telling me and
well,
it's like a possessed or something, or
when you do something like that to somebody to piss them off or get them to pump them up and get them pissed at you, you know, aggravated and stuff or upset, that's gaslighting.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's telling somebody a lie to start shit, you know. Um say you know, saying somebody that they did something that never even happened. Um I brought what I figured was the proxy item of the treasure hunt, which was a car part, a cowl with a bullet hole through it. It was a fuel tank with a bullet hole, just like this airplane in the hunt with a bullet hole through the fuel tank, and it was where it was supposed to be in there. It all fit the right and the guy I brought it down to the annual barbecue gathering. And I got it out of my car and I sat it up on this brick wall. And somebody organizing the event asked me to move it. I moved it and put it where they told me to put it. And then I picked it up at the end of the day, put it in my car. But this guy turned that in, moving it that one time, the guy turned it into that I was dragging it around with me all day long, like Linus in his blanket, you know? Which wasn't true, you know. And the thing was that item was they had me move it and put it where people would sit in between that item and the guy who hid the treasure, and them not knowing that the thing they were looking for was so close. If it was a snake, it'd bite them on the ass. While they're looking the other way at the guy that did this operation, and the thing they were looking for is right on the other side of them. They didn't even notice it was right there. So the guy's sitting there laughing at them because they don't even know that they're sitting right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten so much crap over it, but I've since then I've uncovered so many things that I'm absolutely right.
You're talking about the looking for
Finn's treasure.
treasure. Okay, yeah, that's a
Yeah. It was $1 to $2 million worth of gold and jewels and stuff. But it was actually the treasure was a lure, and the prize is something much bigger.
right. Okay, and you were alluding to the fact that it was possibly related to mythological clues. Would that be a way to put it?
Well, he had there was a physical treasure and stuff, and there was as above, so below was in this poem, and so there's a spiritual aspect and a physical aspect. There are spiritual thoughts and ideas that are just in your head that match physical locations. Saying he had where warm waters halt, and so what that was he started out his book. He was his father committing suicide, and he was shooting birds with a BB gun, a Red Ryder BB gun, to feed his family, you know, during the Depression, the war, whatever. And So he was killing birds with his BB gun, and then he ends his book with his own epitaph and banquet table at the end of life. And so he's and his important literature is Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls and Farewell to Arms. For Whom the Bell Tolls, the guy's on a suicide mission at the end because he's got a wounded leg and he's going to hold the enemy back. And he's left behind with a machine gun to hold the enemy back while his girlfriend, his probably pregnant girlfriend, and his comrades escape. And so he was on a suicide mission. Then A Farewell to Arms, there's a woman, Gary Cooper, the same actor in For Whom the Bell Tolls, his wife dies from giving childbirth. And so here he has two omegas at the end of his book. That's for two endings. That's for him. He is represented by Gary Cooper in For Whom the Bell Tolls, and she's represented by the woman at the end of A Farewell to Arms. And so you have the two omegas. The two endings are omegas, his and his wife. And then he has two alphas. So if the two alphas are the clue to the end, to the clue to the beginning, you need two. The two omegas are the ends. The alphas are the beginnings. Because what's missing if you have two omegas, you're missing the two beginnings. And those beginnings are the alpha Moses up there on the cliff, who's playing J.D. Salinger, the catcher in the rye, standing there on that crazy cliff, watching the people in the cornfield down below searching for something. And here's Moses up on the cliff in the South Fork Canyon, which is his canyon down in his poem.
I'd like to bring up an image. If
People.
you want to send me that image while you're talking, I'll bring. I'm recording, but I have video with my face and the face of Philip K. Dick and the image of my RV and the image of my land, and then my email. And you throw me that image, and we'll throw up the image of this Moses.
Yeah. This Moses figure only comes out at winter solstice, which is the same day that Forrest Fenn was shot down in Laos. He was shot down at winter solstice, and like winter solstice is actually it represents when the sun reaches that lowest point on the horizon on December 20th or whatever. It stays at that lowest point for 3 days before it rises again. And what do we have? We have the relation.
Now, I got to remind you, this is new info to me. This is new info. You'll have to tell me a few times because I have to really pay attention and what you're saying, not hear what you're saying. But again.
So the sun reaches that southern point of the horizon at winter solstice, and it stays there, and it doesn't start moving north again for 3 days. And so then the sun rises after 3 days. And what do we have? We had Jesus resurrected after 3 days.
Right, okay.
And so here he is. He's shot down at a winter solstice. He's on the ground in Laos. He got enemies coming after him. He's putting pepper out to try and distract to keep the dogs from finding him. And then he's rescued the next day, which is basically the resurrection. He was resurrected, rescued. He was going to walk. He thought about walking 100 miles to the coast, to the ocean, through Vietnam out to the ocean to get rescued or something. But and he didn't do that. He called and got rescued. But then, so he was about 40 when this happened. And then 40 years later, he writes this book with the treasure hunt. And the thing was that Moses walked for 40 years in the desert alone or whatever. And when Moses was 80, he was told to write a book of his memories. When Forrest Fenn was 80, he wrote his memoirs with the treasure hunt. With this, the car I mentioned has a bullet hole through it. Well, the bullet is important. And I'll tell you how the bullet is related to the Moses on the cliff. Because Charlton Heston, Cheston, see chest on, okay? He is Moses. And how is Moses related to the bullet? Well, Moses was the president of the National Rifle Association.
Oh, okay.
And then how else is related? The double omegas at the end of the book. What other part does Charlton Heston play? The Omega Man. And he is the commander of the Silver Bullet Brigade. And so this bullet hole, these bullets that have been chasing for us all his life, he's shot down twice, you know. The cancer was a bullet that tried to kill him. His father swallowed sleeping pills. Those sleeping pills are bullets. A car is a bullet. That's how he mentioned The Great Gatsby, because in The Great Gatsby, the car was the bullet that ended the Gatsby. It ran over a biddy that ran out in the street in front of the car. And it ties to his story that called Biddies, where the biddy said that he couldn't cross the street because he'd get hit by a car. And what are you looking for in this treasure hunt was the car. The car was, he called, his wife said, you should call that car the Bullet because it is shot. And so we were looking for his bullet car, and I found his bullet car. It's out here in my driveway.
Yeah.
It's all very, very amazing. But and they put up a guy that as a fake finder to protect actual solver. The guy they put up he's a writer for The Onion.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's an actor, and it goes under many names. He has a lot of pseudonyms. Not just Jack Stoof. He's got other one. And even when they supposedly had a video of him, of this supposedly same guy, which is a different guy, signing his name on a map, and he didn't even spell his name right. He can't be him because you didn't spell your own name right.
I want to ask you some other things, and then maybe we'll stop the recording and talk a few about. So I'm gonna end the recording in a few minutes. So this stuff that I'm talking about, relationships and women, it's a primary topic all the time now. But you've been around a few years. This is not a new thing.
Yeah, it's still women and men are opposites, just like positive and negative, you know, and you don't produce the energy to produce a kid unless you get together. And producing other your children and stuff are extending your life. What you know, that's your reincarnation channel to keep life going. Maybe you don't have to have children to be reincarnated, but I believe they found a lot of people, their reincarnations, they have the same DNA as their reincarnation. It's like your DNA is programmed to the frequency of your spirit. And so your spirit, where that DNA sequence is, your spirit attaches to that. Possibly. It's a theory. It's like the Big Bang's never been more than a theory.
Is this coming from maybe a philosophy that humans were designed to have children rather than not having children?
It's all we all share the mind of God. We all have the same mind. We just live different life experiences. And because see, it's like they had a multiverse. You're a universe. I'm a universe. We're both of the same the same energy, and we have the same mind, but we're separated in these individual uh, characters of the
Yeah, so I want
same.
to ask you about the artwork. Talk about the artwork. Uh, you know, the artwork that you gave me, the piece of paper, and it shows a vortex. I'm holding it now. It's a little dirty. It shows people going into a portal, and I'm holding it up for
Yeah.
the video recording that I'll send you a link to. And as soon as we're done, we can continue. You just tell me. We can go on for a full hour if you want to continue to discuss spiritual stuff. I'll keep recording.
Well, that's a
About how you see the collapse happening. So go ahead, the picture.
that came that came from what I had seen in a canyon wall. There's an Anubis figure holding a scepter, and in his scepter were people walking up a ramp and drifting off the end of the ramp into the vortex, because Anubis is the god of death. He's the he's the god of the afterlife, and so on. You go to Anubis with your feathers, your feather in your heart. You weigh your heart against the feather, and your heart can't weigh more than a feather. Uh, but he's um, get where I was going with that. Oh, so he's the Anubis in his scepter. There's the people going up the ramp and into the vortex and going to heaven. He is sending them off to heaven in this vortex. They just drift off. You go off to heaven, but
I'm holding up the image and I'm going to different corners and showing different parts of it. Can't get that detailed of it. Mostly to show them kind of at almost like the last in line, like the Dio song. They're
there's
there going right in.
yeah, there's a line. There's a line, and
And
then they're
that's why I
walking up
grabbed
the
this because I
ramp.
believe when we're looking for the answers out of hell.
Yeah. Um, and truly, if you come back, if you keep coming back, then death doesn't really matter, because you're going to come back anyhow. Death happens because you can't maintain your molecular uh, assembly. It starts breaking down. You can only keep these cells operating like this for so many years, and that breaks down, and you have to come back and regenerate with a new body. You ever think back to the first time? Think back to your earliest thought in your life, and you're aware of where you are, and what is this? You know. Um, it might not have been when you were born. It might have been when you were 2, 3 years old that you had your first awareness, basically, and you were kind of on autopilot before that. You know, kind of strange. Life is very strange,
I
and, and the connection between the spirit and life is like it, it's like tickle. It's like barely there. You know. And you got to have a strong bond to your spirit. If your spirit loses its bond with life, you're off to a new one. If your body is not worth trying to keep it going, then you move on to another new life. You just get a new one.
Okay, so I was going to jump in and ask real quick because I want you to keep the flow. But some people say, well, we don't want to reincarnate or we shouldn't incarnate because maybe they have a perception because they didn't like their Earth's lessons, because maybe they got, karma. Maybe they ended up, right, having to learn the lessons that they came here to learn. So maybe the reason why some people don't like this world or reincarnation because they're having to work through stuff that they're not yet working through. That's just a talk, because some people are like, well, we have to exit the whole reincarnation time loop thing. And it's like, yes, but from an Eastern perspective, that's less the Matrix, the movie, it happens for a reason. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
iconic or evil. It's a part of a larger web, a process of soul refinement.
Yeah. What we have is the spiritual, non-material parts control the material parts. That's the spirit that controls all. That's why all atoms and all circulate, and they're atoms are just like miniature solar systems, like miniature galaxies. You can go inside as like you go outside. And there are some that say that we live in a black hole. The whole universe is in a black hole. And so imagine this multiverse, and there's all these billions of black holes out there, and each of us is a black hole. And say when you leave this life, your memories are attached to the physical. And so when you come back in the next life, if there's no trace of your past life in your next life, you have no memory of it. The only memory you have is, say, it's in an historical thing that and it makes a connection with you, and you're like, you realize, oh, I was him in a past life, you know. But if that past life isn't part of your future life, you had no idea that one existed. Because it's no longer in the physical realm. That you've returned to the physical realm, and what you were before is totally lost in history. And so you have no idea about that. But it's kind of, and when people get transplants, they get a liver transplant or what, that person that gets a transplant, all of a sudden, there was one lady, she all of a sudden liked corn dogs. Had no idea. And it was a memory that came with the organ transplant.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I've heard of, yeah. Many,
so
yeah.
your memories might be stored in the material world. And like what I'm seeing in the rock formations, the memories of the earth are stored in what some people call pareidolia. But if you can see what I see, it isn't pareidolia. There is too much detail and intricacy to be a pareidolia.
Let's talk about the rocks. I'm gonna try to get some images here. Doing this on the fly. I'm going for it on another browser while we're talking, showing the image. So, what do you think is going on with these? Looks like spirits in the rocks, or carvings in the rocks, or do we even know, or could it be a little bit of everything, or what's going on? What's the spiritual message of these various rocks?
um, that we've been here a very long time, and that they're not telling us the truth about our past. And
Because it led
like
me to
this,
speculations. Then I went in my own direction. But continue. Yeah.
well, what's out there had to have taken thousands of years to create if it was done by man, and it could be this was starting out natural, and somebody saw something in it and helped shape it into what they were seeing in it to where it was. But now we've had 12,000 years of erosion that makes that even hard to see. But if you've got the eye and you spend the time looking at it and blur your eyes in and out and examine it, you see, when you see all the shapes come out of it, you go, holy smokes. That's totally amazing. I have some stuff that's there is no archaeology that looks like what I have found. This is it is multidimensional. There are overlapping a face. Each cheek is another person's face looking in. There are two faces looking in at each other on that face. There's a face on the, it's like Ezekiel. And he had four, he had a head, a face on each side. And each was a different creature, you know? And so they're describing what they've seen in the landscape.
Are you hearing that music?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Well, continue talking. Right now, as you're talking on the video we're making, very clear, high res photos are being shown from a video that I made 7 years ago, which you saw. And it just goes from one
Yeah.
image that I selected from an album that at one point you had there. And then I began to speculate and look at these images and have feelings and perceptions come into me. And dreams were coming into me. In the same month that you exposed me these images. So I believe that it was tapping into the spirit world and that there were spirits trapped there, not too different than maybe the Superman 2 characters that were trapped in some chamber type thing. And then, see, now I can talk about it, and we want to put the focus on there. And you said Wolf's Creek, so we will vocalize Pagosa, and that's it. Pagosa Springs, Archuleta, that's it. Because I was there, and that's my past, Archuleta. And so that's where this is, near Treasure Falls. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's near Treasure Falls, and you see, Pagosa, I was telling you about him killing the birds with his Red Ryder BB gun. Well, the guy who wrote Red Ryder, you've seen the gypsy wagon on Highway 160 in front of his house. And Forrest Fenn has a story about the gypsies coming to town, and he's laying underneath the gypsy wagon watching the gypsies dance. Well, Fred Harmon is the ties to the gypsies, and the BB gun was killing the birds. He killed birds with his BB gun, and the end of his thing, he shot himself in the in the left eyebrow with a .22 caliber bullet from a revolver, a handgun. And the thing is that Hemingway, who was important literature for For Whom the Bell Tolls and A Farewell to Arms, Hemingway shot himself with a gun that he shot birds with. And so where warm waters halt is when he killed them birds and their hearts stopped pumping, and their warm water, their life ended. Warm water halted when he ended his life. So it went from killing birds to killing himself. That bullet had chased him in Vietnam, and it chased him, and he made sure that it didn't miss that time, that final time. He just turned 90, and he had enough. He was checking out. He didn't want to use a cane or a walker or anything, and he wasn't going to be an invalid.
He was going till the very end.
Yeah, he had planned when he was going. The answers he already knew.
Do you remember the image that I zoomed in on that looked like there were rocks having sex by chance? They looked like there were rocks having sex.
Oh, the one with the there was a.
You didn't necessarily point that out to me. I went on my
own. Yeah, there are. I have
then I zoomed in and went like, what is this? What is this? What is this?
I have one that's like a guy sitting on a chair and the girl sitting on his lap facing him with her legs around him.
We're watching it now. We're looking at what is this? What are the women to think about this? What's going on here?
Well,
where are we? What is this place? What is this hell? Help us! Okay.
I think it's my own quote. If it wasn't for fucking people, none of us would be here.
Oh shit. That's coming to me lately a lot. There's gonna be a lot of it. There's gonna be a lot of the wrong humans arriving here too shortly. Uh-oh.
Yeah, if it wasn't for people having sex, none of us would be here. If it wasn't for your dad getting horny, you wouldn't be here.
That's what's so evil about this world. The world is full of a lot of, now we'll go to another image. The world is full of a lot of people that want it their way and only for themselves. Sexuality, like certain parents that don't think about teaching their kids how to engage in the right behaviors and activities to draw in a good person that'll be a long-term partner rather than just someone that they're, like that song on the radio, Somebody's Daughter, is going viral at this time.
Well, the thing, if God is an entity that doesn't even know his own origin, and he's living all these lives to try and figure out where he comes from, and if we're all the same mind going through all these lives. You know, we all have the same goal. We all have the same ambitions, but we don't want the other, our other, you know, like say you're me in another existence. You know, why why should anybody, don't try and stop people from reaching their goals, you know? There's so many people that I don't want you to succeed because then I don't succeed, you know?
Right. A lot of people do that online through trolling, trying to pull people down for just having different ideas. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like a demon versus angel war or a spiritual war.
yeah,
I'll tell you once in a while when I zoom in, and I guess you have a talent to remember some of these images because there, some of them, it's like which one? Which one looks like the goddess? Which one? This is one looks like a feminine face, and they look like large archetypes or beams. You know, like the how it's manifesting out of the rocks. Some of it looks like diamonds. It also seemed like you got some hate for these photographs, also, where it caused some people to look. I'm zoning in now on a giant face that clearly looks. There's a lot of these one-eyed rock faces where they got
yeah.
one eye, giant noses, giant
Oh,
jaws.
let me explain that. The one eye is because the other eye is closed, light and dark.
That's okay. So it's not an Odin thing,
It's a positive, negative, light and dark.
or even if it was
Uh,
Odin, that's what it means. You're saying that the one eye open go. It means light and dark.
yeah.
Kind of like what you
Uh,
the theme with of the show. How there is
okay.
duality. We're in this world
You
of
got one
duality.
eye open and one eye closed. The eye that's open is looking at the physical world. The eye that's closed is looking at your internal world. Kind of.
Ah,
It's a spirit and yeah and before there was light, what was there? There was only dark. So the light came from the dark. Because
again.
the light came from dark. Before there was light, there was dark.
Okay, go deeper.
There was no light before there was light.
Go deeper into the darkness with this theme.
Yeah. Well, well, what I'm saying is that they're saying that everything came out of nothing. So light came out of dark, which was nothing.
Now, as you're saying that, we are zoomed in, and for years I've done interviews, but this time I'm running the image thing, and I don't have a producer. So we're looking at the famous shot that you've got there of Moses, and then it looks like he's got from the left like the hand up. It looks like maybe a staff on the right, maybe a
Yeah.
bird-like type of a cloak, and then he's looking at darkness. So describe this picture, where you took it, how you took it, how it ended up looking like this that you put elsewhere, which I shared a few times, and what you think it represents. And again, where is it? Close to Pagosa, right?
um, it's closer to Southport.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh, there's
there's
faces. There's other faces that I can see to the left now as I look at it, or
yeah
like a half face with the eye and a lips on the mouth on the left side of the screen.
is is your camera is the view you're looking at from an old video that's reverse?
It's a video that I did,
Yeah,
but it's not
but
from. Yeah.
you know how if you use the camera on the side of on the screen side of the phone, it reverses the picture
Okay.
because it sounds like you're describing the picture in reverse. But yeah, there's two figures on the other side. There's a pair of knees in front of him. You see the two knees? That looks like the two tablets, right? But that's somebody's knees, and somebody's sitting there across from him.
The tablet would be
It looks like two tablets in front. He's standing on the head of an elephant.
okay. I see it.
He's standing on the head of a mammoth, is what it is.
Yeah.
And he's not parting the Red Sea. He's parting the Rocky Mountains. He's
Okay. So
sowing the passage over the Continental Divide.
I'm gonna throw this in. You know, I go way out there with speculations, and I could be fully full of it.
The
But I thought
passage from east to west.
this east versus west, I was just thinking there may be a great conflict coming. I was told that Colorado may be the place to be for certain world events, and I wondered if this was a sign for me to see, for
What?
me to continue to see Colorado significant for future events. And I'll leave it at that without going on for an hour. That
Well, look, what was the movie Stephen King movie? And where were they?
there's
Where'd they go?
several.
They
There's The
went to
Shining,
Colorado.
and then they did another one called Doctor Sleep, which I talked about. There's a sequel.
Yeah,
You know about the
suspicious
sequel too?
observers. That guy's in Colorado. We should go up to one of his gather. He has gatherings up. That it's up near Colorado Springs, and
So I want to talk about Colorado again, do podcasts. We'll just focus on these public places where I've been and try to invite other people to invite us or me or you or to the other places where we can film archaeological sites. I'm not going to talk about other states yet. That's going to be down the line. Once we get to down the line, I'll tell you that I heard some speculations about ley lines here
yeah,
that someone discovered. And so even though I'm in a vortex of ugliness, we're not going to talk about it yet until I'm gone. But it's an ugliness of vortex. It's a vortex of ugliness. But even in these ugly vortexes, there may be ancient histories of spiritual energies below the surface that spiritual people can tap into. There may be archangels or angels that may be dwelling, right? Maybe in certain natural areas, maybe even urban, that may be like the opposite of the archons, hopefully, maybe.
yeah,
Aeons, some people call them. Others might call them angels, or maybe just other. In the Islamic world, they would call them the jinn. Their jinn are not all evil or against God.
yeah,
They have pro-God jinn.
yeah. I don't know if you can see. I sent you a picture on Messenger,
Okay, I'll go to there now.
and
Um,
and that one that is one of the most amazing. That is one of the most amazing ones I've found. It,
I don't use
that
Messenger often, so I have to figure out how to get it. I may have to open a new tab. Let's see. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you can get it. You can right click and save it as, and have it in your editor where you can blow it up and all if you want, whatever. But it should do full screen. It's a big image. But there's a big guy with big teeth. There's a guy with big teeth, and his girlfriend right facing him, but her face is the chest of the other head that's up in between them on top, and then their two faces together. His teeth are the eyes of another face that's a big face at the bottom.
I'm going to bring up the image now. Right, okay.
You see those teeth, right?
I just want to say, so I'm going to describe a few other photos that we're not seeing before we go to this. We're going to it now. But there's other photos that I've shown where it looks like there's a female trying to hide her private parts from some entity or spirit, like
Yeah.
shamed. We're going to it now. So I have to show this in stages. So we're showing first the face, and then we're scrolling. Now we're scrolling. We have it blown up, and we're scrolling in high def or high res. And so we're moving it around. This software program, by the way, I have OBS, and I'm not using OBS to its full capacity with other websites and streaming.
You'll have to show me how to use OBS.
All right, all right. So we're scrolling down. You definitely do a lot on your YouTube. So yeah, we were seeing the faces in the other rocks now, and what else are we looking for?
Oh, the one I had sent you, but
No, we're looking at that now. We have the image up,
okay.
and we're
Well,
looking at the face with the lips and the nose at the top.
yep. Oh, well,
Looks
there's
like a
two
hand there
faces.
too.
There are two people facing each other right in the middle. But you see the teeth, his set of teeth. He's got a big set of teeth, and it looks like hands praying in between them. And he's got his two eyes looking at her, and she's got two eyes looking at him. He's got the big teeth. Blur your eyes a little bit and look at it. I don't know if you see him.
Yeah, yeah. I have to put the whole picture there. You have to put the whole picture there.
Yeah.
and look at it for a few minutes.
You got to look at the big
That's a very
picture.
Bigfoot type of look. So these are things in which you have to look at one image at a time, change its size, and then zoom in on the images.
Zoom in, zoom out. Yeah. This one's a zoom out.
And then we can also go back and look at the images in the video because we do not show them all. We can't bombard.
And above their two heads is another head right in the center, and he's got like a ball cap, sun visor hat.
Get this. I showed a video last night of an older white man that lived off grid near me up there in Pagosa Springs. And I said to him that he had a face that looked like the spirits in the rocks. What do you think about that?
Well,
he just had a look, the jaw.
I think one day he'd be going up to see the spirit in the sky.
I've been thinking about contacting him. I'm sure he might be happy with a guest. I got mobile, and if I got mobile and was able to visit people in a vehicle, it might not be a big deal to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean to say in a vehicle that's designed for those type of events. Pagosa is not places that we've seen like San.
The picture I just sent you there, I took it from the road. I took a picture across the creek from a road. There's a road in a canyon, and that's the wall on the other side, right across the creek from where I took the picture.
We're really looking at the teeth now. Now the teeth are obvious from this perspective.
Yeah, and you see his nose and his eyes and the curved top of his head.
Wow.
And his girlfriend looking at him with her hands in between them praying. She's got long black hair.
Where? Below?
What?
Praying where? To the side?
Right in front of his teeth. It might look like teeth if that was one big head.
In front, kind of on the ground.
But if you split those teeth down the middle, the teeth on the right are her hands.
Did you say are you just coughing, or did you say you had cancer or something?
No. I have dabs.
Oh, good.
I have a vape. And I'm drinking some sparkling water now.
I'd like to conclude this podcast for now, and then we'll finish our conversation. But what did you want to maybe conclude this, make this about 1 hour as an introduction? This is showing people for the first time Colorado, that Colorado is not just mountains. Colorado is not just meth heads. Colorado is not just aliens. Colorado is not just Denver. Colorado is a big place. A lot of people think Denver, they think the Springs, and that's it. And they don't realize that it's into the great wide open. And would you say that it's still worth it? And don't talk about where you are. It's a big area out there. There's Swatch County and a lot of places out there. There's Park County, and then there's all these different places. Would you say it's still worth it to try to live in Colorado off grid despite the problems?
Well, actually here, if there is a civil war breakout, it's going to be happening in the cities. It's not going to be happening here where the nearest neighbor is half a mile.
And you're pretty confident of that because what about like the locals in the event
biggest problem here is other dogs coming around to mate with my female.
Well, if that's the biggest problem you've got, well, that's not a good thing though. If that, so they don't even care. They're like, well, we're just animals. That's what we do, and you have to.
Yeah. So yeah, I got an Aussie, little Aussie. She's about 8 months old, and yeah, she's in heat, and there's a little like mini husky comes around to fight with Jill's boy Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And I said his name, and he's you mentioned my name.
So I want to conclude on this topic, and then I'm going to stop the recorder, and then I'm going to run outside and do some stuff. Do you think then by living in certain areas that it brings us closer to getting outside this matrix through becoming spiritual? I just go on for hours. Yeah.
I look at it, what I found there and stuff. If you're reincarnated, what
Do you feel, and
my
while you're coughing, I'll throw more questions that you're also thinking. And do you feel that for your growing evolution, you as a soul at your age, that you need to keep, well, you're getting older, you're older than I, so maybe not, but that moving and going back to the city is part of it? Because watching my old videos, it was like the mountain spits us back, or the off-grid areas back to the urban environment. And we go back and forth. And I see that in my own pattern, living in one
yeah
place at one time and then leaving, then going back to Portland, then going to another place. We call that place Costilla, Archuleta County, Pagosa. And then I talk about other counties. And so, yeah, the question there was, do you think it's kind of necessary to keep, for people like us that are knowledge collectors and shares, to be taking the
yeah
knowledge back into the city?
yeah, but
Basically, I think that's what I did with me coming here and going to Portland. That I take this off-grid energy and these things I write, and then I go back in the city, talk to city people again, and then go back off-grid to deal with the toxification of what happened to me talking to the city people, trying to help the city people.
yeah. Well, one of the biggest problems with getting messages out is nobody, a lot, most everybody does not listen. The reason they don't listen is because they never stop thinking.
Oh, me too.
You have to stop thinking to be able to listen. You can't be listening if you're thinking at the same. You're paying attention and comprehending what somebody's saying is very important to understanding them. It and of course, if they're not listening, they're not going to understand. And the reason they don't understand is because they don't listen. You know.
I'm going to ask you
and
to explain the mammoth temples also. I'm going to bring up the
well,
deity mammoth temples that I've
yeah.
been about.
Well, those two, the one it's obvious, it's definitely it's an elephant trunk coming down and curling up with two nostrils in the end at the front of the mammoth parade, and that puts this stuff at least ice age, and if at the end of the ice age, Dryas is when they were all wiped out, then for all this stuff to be there to have taken thousands and thousands of years, it could be 20,000 years old. And they have found footsteps in New Mexico 28,000 years old. So
Wait.
so
What? Tell
they
me
can't
about New
tell us that
Mexico.
there
What is
weren't
the?
people here. Huh?
I tell me about the alien New Mexico idea or concept, or the idea of the early New Mexico settlers.
Down by White Sands, they found feet print that are 28,000 years old. In Texas, they have feet print that are 6 million years old in old creek beds. Human feet print alongside dinosaurs. I've got one image right by where the Rio Grande and Pass Creek come together up on the cliff, and there's an elephant. It's an elephant. His trunk is curled around the feet of two dinosaurs, holding them up by their feet, and the dinosaurs are hanging upside down, up on this canyon, way up high up on the canyon wall. It's and yeah, it's like two velociraptors, like upside down with one giant mammoth holding both of them by their feet. So yeah, and they found wheels that are 28 million years old in coal mines in layers that are 28 million years old. They find a wagon wheel. They can't explain that. They found brass copper artifacts in layers of coal that are millions of years old.
Are there any theories? Is it all alien theories, or just is it too way even beyond that?
We are aliens. We
I
were
think
brought
that.
here.
I think that
We
too.
we were seeded. Everything here was seeded. The Earth is an alien experiment. The Earth is a test tube. It's an alien test tube, basically.
By the way, I'm not able to bring up that image in today's recording, but it'll happen another day. I'm having an error.
The universe is full of life. We cannot have life here, and there not be life on another galaxy. Uh, uh, 10 billion years, light years away. You know, it's not possible for us to be, and nothing happened. No, it couldn't happen. Bullshit. It's everywhere. Um, they're getting real close to finding real signs. I think on some other planets, they've got signs even of lights on other planets. Proximus B, I think it is, that has city lights. They've detected artificial lights, like would come from maybe a sodium light, or it's not. It's not a solar type of. It's a focused frequency that's only a certain type of light that has to be artificial.
Okay, now I got that image that I talked about. So we got the Moses one image. We talked about that. This image that has all of them on the same. I'm working on bringing it up now. This takes a little bit more pre-production to get this ready. I'm not a master at OBS or anything, but anyway. So what ways might this be influencing the consciousness there,
Um,
or could it be, or even
we're,
planetarily, or from a larger perspective, just the energies of that region?
we're all influenced by what we witness and memories and that all contributes. Some PTSD. Is from a memory, conscious memory of something. You know that alerts your system because it's learned that might represent danger. So
Let's go over the four images here and describe them briefly. The four images here that we're looking at regarding the Egyptian looking image on the left, and then the Thoth image number 2. Again, Moses. So let's go over as we're looking at it. Number 3, and then something that looks was it Sumerian looking on number 4?
okay.
Okay, is that a pretty good description? What do we need to add to the description of those photos? What's the connection with all of them lined up here, all four again?
I know you have the picture with I gave you the picture with the it looks like a little girl climbing up over a ledge and there's a boy laying on top and she's climbing up to kiss him,
Not
but
today.
she's
Maybe
standing
in the.
on the tusk of a mammoth and he's laying on the top of the head of the mammoth
Mhm.
and she's climbing up there to kiss him. And but there's all kinds of other things in those because they're multi-layered. There are layers on top of layers. There are entire people inside the eyeballs of other people.
Okay, we're gonna have to take a break and just end it there
It's
because then.
multi-dimensional.
Okay, give a conclusion to this because we've got people thinking. I want to re-record, or I want to come back and continue talking. Maybe not today, but in a few days, maybe, or tomorrow or something. We continue
Sure.
talking about, or you can tell me over Facebook with maybe a brief outline or paragraph summary.
Yeah.
Things we can go into. So it's like the idea of let's conclude this, end this, and then finish talking about other things off camera. So it's
Okay.
worlds in the next few minutes. Okay, conclude here then. Worlds within worlds. What are we talking about? You said worlds within the eyes.
Other figures,
Oh yeah, figures. What?
other
Worlds,
people,
figures, figures. Yeah.
other faces, other whole, entire human figures inside the eyeball of one figure. I have a picture. I had a dog. He was a wolf. He was part wolf, and he had the yellow eyes. And I had a macro zoom in picture of just his eyeball, and there were it was like stars and galaxies inside his eyeball.
And what The dog.
It's like looking into a black hole. Huh?
What? A dog?
Yeah,
Okay.
inside a dog's eye.
It's
It's
interesting
like
you said that. I remember photographing my eye doing the same thing, and I see people do that on social media now. Sometimes they photograph their eye, not so much lately, but very 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
yeah.
Yeah, people were doing that a lot more.
You know
Now, when people
the
photograph their eyes and they zoom in, if they're taken over by entities, it's obvious. It's like they're bragging that they're. It's like they're doing a check. They're like showing their eyeball, and they're like, "Yep,
yeah.
one of you now. I'm just confirming they got me." So some
You,
people
you,
see that on social media. They're like, "Yep, we're one of them now," because you can look into
you,
their eyes and be like, "There's no one home." Damn.
you know the crystal ball.
Mm.
It the other way they could have the same effect of a crystal ball is you say you have a black bowl or a black bucket, totally black bucket of water, and the reflection in that black water will reflect images. You'll see things. That's a way to see the spirit. Like I can see it in the rock formations. You know.
I'm gonna bring up another picture now. Male, female face. It's from your look in page, website,
Yeah.
and so that is. That'll take me about a minute to bring up. So it looks like it's two faces merged into one, I think.
Yeah. Oh well, there's multiple. There's probably 5, 6 faces in there. You just haven't seen them yet. I I tell people my art. You'll look at it 2 years later. I never seen that before.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Are you seeing stuff that you hadn't noticed before?
Yeah. Well, I noticed that I don't really know what other people, I haven't seen a lot of people comment on it so far. We'll see what happens today. I know that I asked a few other people what they thought about it. And some people were adamantly being very negative and evil about it, or almost even cruel, which I thought was
Yeah.
interesting. One person, I'm not going to say his name, but it'll be obvious who he is. He's a person who I've been promoting for a long time. Um, and I'm just making sure we're on the same screen here. I'm doing this while trying to get the image. He had let me interview him about psychic phenomena that he had regarding the future in China and Russia. I thought he was very psychic, but he had a very negative view of the idea of there being life in rocks, which is a spiritual concept. It's called animism, I believe. Anyway, he seemed to be really against it, and he's like, rocks are just rocks or something, and I did not agree with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one at the top of my lookinghere.com is the Mammoth Temples. That's the Mammoth Parade, and you see the
If
front.
you want me to put that out there and let people have that website, then
Yeah, they
mention
can
it. I
see it.
thought maybe you shouldn't, but if we're at
That
the point of you being beyond fear and not
that
even being of that vibration, then we'll just tell people they can go.
I'm not. I tell my trolls I can see it coming 3 miles away. You know
Mhm.
how it is out here. No trees.
So I'm bringing up the image now. Okay, so it looks like one big face. I'm bringing it up now, and then maybe we'll figure out where we can do according to the past.
Well, there are faces. There are
There's multiple
faces, and
faces. Yeah.
the front elk mammoth with his trunk curled up. There's a guy laying down underneath him, his head to the right, and then there's a second mammoth, and then the third mammoth has a pack on its back, and about the fifth mammoth has a pack on his back too. But back where the fifth mammoth is, that's where there's a catwalk on top of there. There's a It's like a walkway, and there are so many things happening in that picture. That one picture. And right above, right behind that front mammoth, up around his butt, is a little cove, a little cave in there. It's a little maybe one person could sleep in there.
Basically, I want to describe what I see, like another goddess type alien, but I don't want to sound evil by saying alien all the time now. I want to sound
Yeah.
maybe compassionate to the other forms of life that at one point called Earth.
Well,
Just this finger pointing, I want to be compassionate because I see life. I see life.
I wouldn't. Maybe alien isn't the right term because they're other godly beings.
Yeah, it doesn't look evil. It looks like
Everything is a godly being. Animals do have souls.
there are two faces. There's two giant faces when I look at it now.
Yeah.
Male, like almost looking
Yep.
at an animal face to the right, and then a female face of some kind on the left, and then the right. But then, yes, faces on the larger female face on the
And in front of that trunk, there's a head laying down. The top of the head toward the trunk, maybe.
top of the head. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And there's somebody sitting there up on top. It's just amazing. There's somebody in between the second and third mammoth. There's somebody crouched up in there.
We're looking, and I see lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. One main thing, it looks like a I don't know how to describe it, but again, green, male-ish, humanoid, not humanoid, but
Yeah,
dinosaur looking. A lot of dinosaur looking faces.
yeah.
And so
Well,
if they had dinosaurs then and humans at the same time period, you're saying that they discovered in places on the earth?
I see that. Okay, what happened to the big? I have this theory that there was an intelligent dinosaur that hunted the large dinosaurs to extinction, like we do with the large mammals, and 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 that we could be a genetic experiment of them messing with mammals, mixing monkeys and whatever, you know?
Now, talking about mammals, we're not going to get any specific, but there's books out there that get into the cattle mutilations of certain regions in Colorado, and that deals with mutilations of mammals, cows. Is there a
Yeah,
connection with that? Just the mammal? Well, there is on some level, obviously.
yeah. Snippy was the first cattle mutilation. Was a horse up here in the San Luis Valley,
Mm-hmm.
and but yeah, our brain stem is reptilian. The part of the brain, that part that connects to the spinal, that part's reptilian. That goes back to a reptilian, and so we have mammal and reptilian mixed in us. And so if there was an intelligent dinosaur, they could be what we're calling aliens that have these advanced ships that have been here for millions of years.
Now, I came up with an idea of perception. We're going into over because you have a lot of creative stuff, so I'm not going to stop. But we need to do a series of these. Some people can handle super long ones, or maybe a bunch of short ones. Um, Looking at images, I was making a video recently. It's good to have spiritual images to look at, not necessarily aliens. But when I looked at these faces, I felt like I was connecting in with their souls, that they were alive, and I felt that they were crying. When I was in Walmart in Bagosa, I felt tears coming down my face because I felt them screaming for help. Or so I'm just weird like that, schizophrenic like that, whatever. But no, I'm not schizophrenic. I really was feeling genuine pain.
Yeah,
Maybe it was real.
yeah, maybe,
Maybe the
yeah.
pain, yeah, maybe I was picking up on the pain in Bagosa, but maybe they want me back. No, the whole thing, I talk a lot on my channel. You probably heard me a few times talk about the psychology we've got is like we've been programmed to be slaves, mind slaves, sexually, warlike, and now I don't want to blame this creature that I have the image up. I'll take the image off now, but there's basically a lot of life there and underneath us and around us. But I remember what I was going to say a few days ago. The whole Gaia worship thing. I think that we should probably be looking to be evolved beyond the Earth, beyond what they've done here historically with the Earth, with the different forms of life, bastardized forms of life that have been created and destroyed, and then not worship Gaia or the Earth, respect it, but try to get us out of this place, this Earth. Not worship the Earth. This Earth is hell, but get out of here, like you're saying, to get out of here through the portal, through the nine gates, through the Emerald Towers of Thoth, the whole 9 yards. And so I'm saying the Gaia matrix, which some people I think maybe worship or put above God or angels, is not the way, but is the fallen world, our world, the fallen world, not the thing to elevate, but the thing to. But the beauty that's there, I'm still looking for that. Yeah, the idea of looking for this, the idea of the goddess spirit. I know that from Oregon and just looking at depictions of beautiful spirits coming out of the trees and rocks. And I noticed that in Durango also, separate from these pictures, constant serpent or serpentine images, which I also showed in a recent slideshow, or even what looked like alligators or crocodiles that were frozen in time. So some final thoughts regarding this. It was like there was an ancient cataclysm in the past. That was what I was speculating on, and that Chimney Rock also had formations that could have been carvings too. And then you talk about the Clovis Indians and the Mammoth temples. So was there, do you think, I mean, obviously, but we're talking four corners, Arizona, Colorado, the area, Utah, like an ancient war. And even specifically the Indian land that I was near Chimney Rock. It just seemed like there was maybe a history of conflict. Maybe there were warring groups either on the earth or at minimum in that region of North America.
Yeah. Well, for that area, the Four Corners is not far from Shipwreck Rock, and Shipwreck Rock is the center of the Western medicine wheel, and so there are concentric rings around that, and like this area up to Mount Blanca is in that first ring of the Western medicine
Is there
wheel.
something mysterious about the sand dunes that you think is legitimate? I know on the internet, I don't really go down everybody's theory, but I know that I read somewhere that people have theories about the sand dunes.
Well, a lot of these rocks are if they were made by man and all, they would need all that silica to for the cement or whatever that they use to make all these rock images. I saw one of the rocks in this area that the rocks, when you go there, they're all red and yellow color, kind of yellow cut. But when the rock it's white and crystally inside it, inside the rock, but the outside's all colored, and so a lot of the colors you see on these are just applied on the surface, and why isn't it just one color if it's all the same material? Because it was colored that way intentionally.
I'm showing the Lumineer.com. I'm showing right now the imagery of that. So we have the different suspect deities here: Enki, Thoth, Moses, Anubis.
Yeah. Well, the Thoth, you see him up in the top part is a man riding on top of a bird. The bird's flying to the right toward the tree, and the beak is in the well of the roots of the tree, and the wings. And there's a man laying on the back of the bird, facing you, smiling.
Do you think that this place, Pagosa, is not for everybody? Even when I told the people about Pagosa after the fact, no one cared. But when I was there, they cared. They cared when I was there, but not when I was gone. Kind of odd. I never heard of a single person going to Pagosa after I was gone.
Yeah, well, I go there to the hot springs. They're great hot springs. Pagosa means smells bad.
Oh, talk about that. So there was a video that went out there about I don't know if that was David's, but it was a video about the large, like a tunnel or like a large distance to the, not center of the earth, but like a well.
Yeah.
Coast to Coast posted it. Yeah. There's something that goes down deep from Pagosa. Do you know what that is?
Well, Pagosa Hot Springs, they've measured over 1,000 feet deep.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
And I heard somebody say that they dropped a 2,000-foot mine
But do we
in
know
and
what
it
that
didn't reach
means? What would be
bottom.
like the context of that, the significance from a larger cosmic perspective?
It goes down deep into the earth there.
So it's connected in with deep earth energy.
Yeah, there's yeah.
I cried when I was in
I
Pagosa
watched
for the
some of
first
these
time.
people to go cave exploring, and it's amazing what's underground. You could go if you could find a cave that nobody knew about, man. Move into that thing. Then you're safe from nuclear attack and everything.
You know, one of the things that I've been doing is locating the caves near me,
Yeah,
and realizing that when it happens, there's going to be massive amounts of people. They're going to be fighting to be in that cave. You know, it's going to be the people that live like right by the house. They're not going to let people. It's going to be very barbaric.
yeah.
Let's conclude here, okay? Archuleta Mesa, last thing, and then we're gonna stop the recording and we'll finish talking, and then I'm gonna go outside because I need sunlight as the sun's coming in to clear out me looking at the internet. The Archuleta Mesa, what do you think that is, or what? There's the Philip Schneider discussions, and he made it famous, but I never physically went down there, but I was close to it the whole time I was up there.
Yeah, look at Chimney Rock, man. That thing, that's a World Trade Center tower on top of a pyramid. You know?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, it looks from the one angle, it looks like a skyscraper on top of a pyramid.
I'll try to bring it up now so people can see it.
The and there are big faces and elephants in the rock sculpture on top there if you get up close. But from Highway 160 when you're looking at it, it looks like a pyramid with a tower on it.
Now I've described it. I have a video that I'm going to bring up. We're going to have to show this video. Let's see. It's going to take. This is very important to show this video. Okay, to conclude it. Now, what I was thinking about that monument, because I took a picture of it, got a picture from Google, because I didn't see it with my naked eye, so I had to zoom in. Like we're talking about, you have to really get in there.
Yeah, and there's another place.
Like, yeah.
There's another place over near Manasseh. It's called the Fairy Hills. That the rocks are. It's called the Fairy. I know exactly why it's called the Fairy Hills because these rocks are all human figures, and it's like they're all laying on top of each other, and it's just weird as hell.
Have you heard me mention Dion Fortune yet at all, or do you know what I'm talking about? The Dion Fortune lady who was doing the countering the black magic from Hitler. Basically, she found a ley line spot in Europe where she started to do these mass meditations with these mind warriors, and she picked a location called Glastonbury, where it was believed that Jesus had visited at one point. So this location of Chimney Rock, I felt that the information of Dion came to while I was there to recreate Dion Fortune's work for World War III. I believe we're talking right now to plant seeds. Like right now, we're showing the Chimney Rock video, and what I'm showing, and I use some sort of a cheap program on Windows, but it just altered the picture as you alter it so slightly so you see details in the, describe with the audience why I altered the picture. So you see details that you normally wouldn't see. And it looks Anunnaki, it looks Nephilim, it looks fallen angel. It may not necessarily be evil, but it definitely looks batty as hell. And then it looks serpentine, not necessarily a reptilian, but serpentine, a serpent. And then I had a dream last night of a python not attacking me, but coming down to greet me. That was an orange python. And I didn't get the sense that, I'm going to pause on this. This one looks Egyptian. And it looks like there's an eye, an eagle. It's like there's an eagle symbol. I'm gonna send you this just so you see it again, because you might have forgotten some of the images. Anyway, do you remember that video? What do you think might be the connection with the Chimney Rock faces and this serpentine Egyptian Aztec type of look? Because that's what some people commented and said it looked Aztecian.
Well, a lot. I heard you mentioned that they was it pagan or I don't know, but they call the Egyptians pagan for worshiping the sun. Where would we be if we didn't have the sun? That gives us life.
Right.
The sun is a life-giving God for humanity, for all life on Earth. Without it, we wouldn't exist. You know.
Yes. Yes.
So you can't call the sun evil or pagan.
Right. That's always come off as odd to me. People doing that.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of anti-existence then. You wouldn't exist without it there. But the whole universe is a cosmic mind, a brain, and it has the power to assemble all the atoms, and the supernatural controls the physical.
Let's conclude there. I'm going to eat and then get a hold of, well, actually, okay, we will conclude this recording and then I'm going to hit stop now.